Welcome back, everybody, to ASB and Scene Bourbon. My name is Peter.
I'm Brian.
And our guest star here,
Colin.
Today we're going to be talking about Ant-Man.
Ant-Man. It's finally here after trials and tribulations and a messy production history. As we all know, Mr. Edgar Wright of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End was going to be writing and directing this, worked on it for the better part of 5 years, and then suddenly he and Marvel had a very big falling out about last year, I believe, and now here we have I think Marvel's approved version of Ant-Man, and it's entertaining. It's fun.
It was fun. Michael Pena was he held it together for me. He's not one of the primary characters. He's definitely a support character, but his comedic relief really held it together for me personally. No, there was a lot of really witty banter between the characters. They did a pretty decent job. There were a couple boring lulls in the movie, but overall, it was pretty fun. And personally, I like the fact that it did not take itself all that seriously.
No, and it couldn't have.
No, I mean, we all enjoy the Dark Knight series that took itself very seriously and it went to serious places. We've enjoyed the Avengers and all the characters building the Avengers up to what they are and what they're going to be. Ant-Man, it just.
It kind of makes sense, though. This screenplay has kind of gone through quite a few writers. You have Edgar Wright and his writing partner. They obviously left enough of their writing in the script in the final film to credit them as co-screenwriters on it. I think WGA rules state that at least a third of the script you have to get into the final cut in order to get a credit. Yeah. So we have that, and then we have Mr. Adam McKay, who we all know from working with Will Ferrell on like all of his movies. So I think that's kind of where those kind of more funnier. You kind of see that.
Oh yeah.
That type of humor come through on a lot of the scenes, and it worked well. It was funny. And then you kind of have the Edgar Wright, like really quick style, like when Michael Pena is like telling his stories about how he learned this information. You got like the quick whips with the camera. That's all Edgar Wright stuff. So you can kind of see the blends of both of them coming through. It's a little uneven, which inevitably is going to happen when you kind of have passionate writers who don't really have the same type of vision, all having to work on this one screenplay, even if it was, at separate times during the process.
Yeah, it is fairly evident that certain scenes were definitely written by different writers. You go from one scene that's very slow and boring, and then you jump into something that's quick-witted and funny. And the scenes didn't fold together very cleanly.
Plot-wise, it's a giant heist movie.
Yeah.
The entire movie is the build-up to the heist and...
T.I.
Yes.
Oh, and definitely the build-up for the new Captain America movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, there is an after-credit sequence, as is expected by now.
Spoilers, FYI.
Yes.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, well, as we all know, and if you've watched our videos, you've seen us talk about it, you've heard us talk about it before, but we're getting into the last third of the whole Marvel Universe saga here. We're going into...
which is about time, because it's looking like DC's going to be coming out with frickin' fists
swinging. Well,
going hard with Batman versus Superman, so... But overall cast is good. Paul Rudd, awesome, which I don't think anybody had really any doubt.
No.
Extremely charismatic.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the comedic timing down perfectly.
Great timing.
Yeah, he really just did exactly what we expected. Michael Douglas was awesome in this. He seemed to be having some fun with it also. Like, he kind of knew the type of movie that he was being in. You can tell that, like, while he was being serious, he wasn't trying to
Yeah.
You know, be like that dark Michael Douglas that we've come to know so well. And then Miss Evangeline Lilly, fresh off the Hobbit trilogy. Now she's getting back into another franchise with the Uma Thurman Pulp Fiction haircut.
Oh, yeah. Perfectly framed her face. Very, very beautiful face.
Yes, she's awesome. Corey Stoll as our villain. Corey, we may know him from, or you may know him from the first season of House of Cards on Netflix. He's currently in The Strain on FX, Guillermo del Toro's show. He does a great job as a villain. I really like him as an actor.
Oh, yeah, he did a great job in this movie. His, like... You can see kind of the progression throughout the film
of like him like losing it,
of his instability getting worse and worse. Did a very good job with that.
Yeah, he's awesome. And then, of course, as you mentioned earlier, Michael Pena as kind of the comic relief type guy. He does an awesome job as usual. He kind of lightens up and really gets the most out of those scenes that he has.
I did like how, even though there was the family element, you know, for the protagonist, he needed to go rescue his family, and his family was definitely a quintessential thing in his motivation of doing everything. They didn't just butcher that. It didn't feel forced.
Yes.
They did a really good job with that.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I really loved how, like, the whole, like, his army of ants, you kind of go through the whole, like, different...
No, we didn't touch on that.
Let's talk about that a little.
That was really good, I thought.
Because, that was kind of the difference between this and other Marvel superhero movies. It's usually just the hero, but in this, it's like he has his entire army of different species of ants that have to help him complete his tasks, whatever they are.
Which was actually, now that was really fun. That was
that was
interesting.
Cool. You kind of learned a little bit about, like ants. You kind of gained some more respect for them after watching this,
and again, it's kid friendly, so I mean, they also learn about ants and insects and species.
But I thought that was actually pretty clever how they, because how his like getting around and everything, his ability to fly, like the flying ones,
Anthony,
and the ones that like band together that you can use as like a water raft. And stuff
that was epic.
It's very clever.
It's a very fun, cute concept.
Yeah, it's clever and fun, and they managed to make it work very well in the movie. It feels like it fits with the tone of it.
Thought it was a lot of fun. There were a lot of great moments that made me laugh and also made me want to cheer. But overall, I enjoyed it a lot. Actors, they did a good job casting, and the story, like what Brian and Peter were saying, the storyline, they had a few issues because, I mean, when you have a whole team of writers that are different in how they write, some pieces don't mix well with others, but you can only do so much blending, and they did the best they could. Other than that, it's a lot of fun. It's a good summer blockbuster, and I look forward to seeing the new Ant-Man when it comes back.
Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
Go see it. I mean, these guys make these videos for you to watch and also gain a little bit of an idea if you want to go see it or not. We highly recommend seeing it. It's a fun movie. Your kids are gonna love it. It's also family oriented as well. So definitely go see it and have fun.
This was a very fun movie, and not worth seeing in 3D, but I will probably eventually add this to my collection.
That's another solid Marvel movie. I always will wonder what we would have gotten if Edgar Wright had the creative control over this that he wanted and he had directed it.
I think that would have been even more.
It would have been incredible. Probably, according to Josh Whedon, he said Edgar Wright's script was the best script that he had ever read for Marvel. So as much as I like this, there's always going to be that lingering what could have been.
That might bite them in the ass.
Oh yeah, but I mean, it's a very fun movie. You kind of just have to get over the fact that it's probably not the movie that it could have been.
Yeah.
But it's still fun.
In conclusion, we all seem to really enjoy this movie, so we recommend going to see it and supporting Big Hollywood.
All right,
support Marvel. They need the money.
Marvel is a non-profit organization, and they desperately need
Marvel.org.
our help.
Stanley is in an incubator.
Well, anyway, thank you for joining us for another episode of And Seen Bourbon. I'm Peter.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Colin.
Cheers.